How well do you know the stories behind some of Hollywood's most influential black gay stars? While many names on this list may be unfamiliar, their impact and tragic tales are unforgettable. From battling personal demons to leaving a lasting mark on the world, here are some famous black gay celebrities who have passed away and their causes of death. Germaine Stewart was a man who knew how to light up a room, whether belting out songs on stage or dancing with electrifying energy. Born in 1957, Stewart began his career as a dancer on Soul Train, a show that gave him his first taste of the spotlight. However, it was his powerful voice that truly set him apart. With his addictive hit song, "We Don't Have to Take Our Clothes Off," Stewart became a household name in the 1980s. Known as one of pop music's most captivating performers, Stewart, S music not only entertained but also inspired. His lyrics often carried messages of self-esteem and confidence, resonating deeply with fans worldwide. Off stage, Stewart was known for his bold fashion choices and larger-than-life personality, a reflection of his unapologetic acceptance of himself in an industry that often pressured artists to conform. He stood out as someone unafraid to be different, embodying freedom and individuality. Sadly, Stewart's life came to an end in 1997 when he passed away from complications of AIDS and liver cancer. His death was a heartbreaking loss for fans and a stark reminder of the devastating impact the AIDS epidemic had on the LGBTQ+ community. Archie Savage was a multifaceted artist born in 1914 who built a career as a dancer, actor, and choreographer. He was one of the first black artists to make a name for himself in modern dance. Savage's movements combined strength and grace, captivating audiences wherever he performed. His work in dance broke barriers and paved the way for future generations of black artists to follow in his footsteps. Savage's talents extended beyond dance. He left his mark in Hollywood, appearing in films and collaborating with some of the biggest names in the industry. As a choreographer, he shared his expertise with aspiring dancers, nurturing talent and bringing the art of dance to a broader audience. His career was a testament to his dedication and passion, earning him the respect and admiration of peers and fans alike. Savage lived a long and fulfilling life, passing away in 2003 of natural causes. His contributions to the arts remain a shining example of what can be achieved through talent and determination. Although his name may not be widely recognized today, his influence continues to inspire those who dream of making their mark in the world of dance. Tony Washington was a trailblazer in the world of R&B, an artist who dared to defy expectations and embrace his true self. As the lead singer of the disco, Washington brought unforgettable energy to the stage, combining soulful vocals with a vibrant presence that mesmerized audiences. Born in 1958, Washington was one of the first openly gay artists in R&B, a fact that set him apart in an industry that often valued conformity over authenticity. His decision to live openly was a bold statement, inspiring fans and challenging societal norms. Through songs celebrating love, freedom, and self-expression, Washington created a legacy that resonated far beyond the disco era. Sadly, Washington's life came to an end in 1989 due to complications from AIDS. His passing was a great loss to the music world, but his legacy remains intact. Washington's courage, talent, and authenticity continue to inspire those who dare to be themselves, proving that true artistry lies not just in music, but in living life on your own terms. James Baldwin was a literary genius and an unyielding advocate for both black and gay rights. Born in Harlem, Baldwin's upbringing shaped his views on racial identity and societal expectations. His works, such as Giovanni's Room, challenged the norms of his time by openly addressing homosexuality and bisexuality, something few authors before him dared to do. Essays like Notes of a Native Son were powerful responses to racial tensions in America. Baldwin's writings also delved deeply into his struggles with his sexual identity. His unapologetic approach to these topics created a space for future generations of queer individuals, especially Black queer voices, to tell their stories. Beyond writing, Baldwin was a key figure in the civil rights movement and a vocal critic of American society. In the 1980s, Baldwin delivered a lecture titled Race, Racism, and the Gay Community, where he sharply criticized the LGBTQ+ community's failure to address racial inequalities affecting queer people of color. Baldwin's voice was one of reason, but also personal pain, drawing from his experiences with racism, homophobia, and discrimination to fuel his activism. He passed away in 1987 due to complications related to cancer, marking the loss of one of the 20th century's most significant thinkers and writers. Glenn Burke was a trailblazing athlete, remembered not just for his achievements on the baseball field, but for his courage in living authentically. As a professional player for the Los Angeles Dodgers and Oakland Athletics, Burke made history as the first Major League Baseball player to come out as gay while still active in the league. This decision was immensely brave in a sports culture notoriously hostile to homosexuality. But Burke was more than an athlete. He was also the inventor of the high five, a gesture that has become iconic in sports and popular culture. While his MLB career was short-lived, Burke's impact was enduring. After leaving professional baseball, Burke struggled with his identity in a world that seemed unwilling to accept him. Despite the challenges, he remained a pivotal figure in the LGBTQ+ community, particularly in sports, where his bravery paved the way for future athletes to live openly. Tragically, Burke's life ended in 1995 due to complications from AIDS. His death was a painful reminder of the devastating toll of the epidemic on the LGBTQ+ community in the 1980s and 1990s. Burke's passing marked the end of a revolutionary life filled with untapped potential. Alvin Ailey was one of the most influential figures in the world of dance, leaving behind a legacy that extended far beyond the stage. As the founder of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, he brought unprecedented emotional depth and storytelling to modern dance. His groundbreaking choreography, such as Revelations, became one of the most performed works in American dance history. Ailey's passion for dance was deeply tied to his mission of creating opportunities for African American artists, who were often excluded from mainstream dance companies. However, his career was not without personal struggles. While beloved by the public, Ailey's private life remained enigmatic, with speculation about his sexual orientation persisting throughout his life. It was only after his death that the complexity of his identity became more widely known. Ailey was openly gay, and his sexual orientation deeply influenced the emotional resonance of his choreography. His works often explored themes of spiritual longing, liberation, and the intricate intersections of identity. Alvin Ailey passed away in 1989 due to complications from AIDS, leaving a profound void in the world of dance and the LGBTQ+ community. Marsha P. Johnson was a fierce and unapologetic advocate for LGBTQ+ rights, particularly those of transgender individuals. Born in 1945 in New Jersey, Johnson moved to New York City, where she became an indispensable figure in the LGBTQ+ community during the 1960s and 1970S. She was a key figure in the 1969 Stonewall riots, a pivotal moment in the LGBTQ+ rights movement. Alongside Sylvia Rivera, Johnson co-founded the Street Transgender Action Revolutionaries, STAR, which provided housing and support for homeless LGBTQ+ youth. Known for her vibrant personality and colorful fashion, Johnson fearlessly championed minority rights, often placing herself on the front lines of the struggle. In addition to her activism, Johnson was a performer with the drag troupe Hot Peaches, using art to express herself and draw attention to the challenges faced by transgender individuals, particularly the poor. She was also deeply involved in AIDS advocacy, working tirelessly with ACT UP to raise awareness during the epidemic. Johnson died in 1992, shortly after the Gay Pride Parade. Her body was found floating in the Hudson River, and her death was initially ruled a suicide. However, many in the LGBTQ+ community suspected foul play, and the true circumstances of her death remain unresolved to this day. Willie Ninja was more than a performer. He was a trailblazer, a symbol, and a beacon of creativity in the world of dance. Born William Roscoe Leake in 1961 in Flushing, Queens, Willie's passion for movement and rhythm took root early. He elevated voguing with his storytelling and elegance, inspired by high-fashion poses, and left an indelible mark on the global stage. Willie gained worldwide recognition through his captivating appearance in the documentary Paris is Burning, 1990, which showcased the vibrant ballroom culture of New York City. In 1982, he founded the House of Ninja, becoming a mentor and leader to countless dancers and performers, transforming voguing into a cultural phenomenon. Willie's influence extended beyond the dance floor. He taught models how to walk the runway, collaborated with major fashion designers, and appeared in music videos. His signature moves were not only entertaining but revolutionary, challenging norms of art and identity. Proud of his heritage and uniqueness, Willie used his talent to inspire others to embrace their individuality. Despite his fame, he remained humble and approachable within the dance community. Willie Ninja passed away in 2006 due to heart failure related to AIDS. His death marked the end of an era, but his legacy lives on through every move, performance, and step that celebrates identity and freedom. Assotto Saint was a fierce and unapologetic voice for the Black LGBTQ+ community. Born in Haiti in 1957, Saint moved to the United States as a young man, carrying a deep love for words and a determination to address the struggles of marginalized communities. As a poet, playwright, and activist, Saint shattered societal norms and created a platform for silenced voices. Through his raw and evocative works, he explored themes of identity, love, race, and the challenges faced by Black queer individuals in a world that often rejected them. His poetry collections, such as Stations and Desiree Had a Pair of Wings, boldly tackled the complexities of being both Black and gay. Saint also penned plays that delved into the intersections of culture and sexuality, using the stage as a medium to challenge stereotypes and foster empathy. Beyond his writing, Saint was a tireless advocate for AIDS awareness and LGBTQ+ rights, dedicating his energy to fighting for lives often overlooked by mainstream activism. He extended his leadership to founding Other Countries Collective, a group dedicated to amplifying the voices of Black queer writers. Assotto Saint's life ended in 1994 due to complications from AIDS at the age of 36. Though brief, his life left an indelible impact, inspiring future generations with his bold and meaningful contributions to art and activism. Ellis Haizlip had a vision that reshaped television and gave voice to Black artists during an era when their talents were often overlooked. Born in 1929 in Washington, D.C., Haizlip was a creative force with a keen eye for talent and a passion for storytelling. As the creator and executive producer of the television show Soul, he brought poetry, music, and culture into American living rooms, celebrating the beauty and complexity of Black life. His show featured legendary figures like Nikki Giovanni, Roberta Flack, and Ashford and Simpson, providing a platform where their art could flourish without compromise. More than just a producer, Haizlip was a cultural curator with a gift for recognizing brilliance, whether in the voice of a young singer or the words of a poet. He collaborated with icons like Cicely Tyson and James Earl Jones, and worked with the Alvin Ailey Dance Company to elevate art to new heights. Haizlip believed in the power of representation, and through Soul, he created a space where Black culture was celebrated rather than marginalized. He passed away in 1991 due to complications from cancer, leaving behind an unparalleled legacy in arts and media. Haizlip's vision paved the way for future generations of Black creators. Sylvester James, often simply known as Sylvester, was a music pioneer who lit up the disco era with his flair and talent. Born in Los Angeles in 1947, Sylvester grew up in the church, where his love for music began. His gospel roots were evident in his powerful voice, which soared from a rich baritone to a piercing falsetto. Dubbed the Queen of Disco, Sylvester rocked the world with hits like You Make Me Feel and Dance. His performances combined soul, funk, and disco with his unique style. Sylvester's life was as vibrant as his music. He never hid his identity as a gay man at a time when such openness was rare. His bold fashion choices, larger-than-life personality, and unforgettable voice defined his legacy. Sylvester not only made music but also created anthems of liberation, love, and self-expression. He was a beacon for the LGBTQ+ community, showing that living authentically is not just a choice, but a celebration. Sylvester's life ended in 1988 when he passed away from complications of AIDS. His death marked the loss of a star whose light burned brightly but too briefly. However, his legacy lives on in his music, continuing to fill dance floors and inspiring others to live authentically. Wallace Thurman was a literary genius whose works captured the complexities of Black identity during the Harlem Renaissance. Born in Salt Lake City in 1902, Wallace was an intellectually precocious child with a love for books and learning. His sharp intellect and unique perspective set him apart, leading him to New York City, where he became a central figure in the literary and artistic explosion of the 1920s. Wallace is best known for his novel, The Blacker the Berry, a bold exploration of Black life and colorism within the Black community. His work was raw, honest, and ahead of its time, shedding light on issues many were reluctant to address. Wallace's apartment became a hub of creativity, attracting luminaries like Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, and Richard Bruce. These gatherings were filled with spirited debates, poetry readings, and a shared passion for breaking boundaries. Wallace was not just a writer, but also a catalyst for change, challenging societal norms and encouraging others to do the same. Despite his brilliance, he faced numerous challenges, including financial struggles and health issues, which often overshadowed his successes. Wallace Thurman passed away in 1934 at the age of 32 from tuberculosis. His untimely death robbed the world of a voice just beginning to make its mark. However, his works continue to resonate, offering a glimpse into the Harlem Renaissance and the mind of a man unafraid to confront the truths of his time. Bayard Rustin was a trailblazer for justice and equality. Renowned for his tireless work as a civil rights activist, and a voice for the LGBTQ+ community. Born in 1912 in Pennsylvania, Rustin grew up in a family steeped in Quaker values, instilling in him a strong sense of nonviolence and a deep commitment to human rights. These principles shaped his role as a key advisor to Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., helping to organize the historic 1963 March on Washington. Rustin, quote,'s influence extended far beyond the march, as he tirelessly worked behind the scenes to strategize and promote the principles of nonviolent protest. Despite his invaluable contributions, Rustin faced significant challenges due to his identity. In 1953, he was arrested in California after being found with 2 men in a parked car, leading to a 50-day jail sentence and mandatory registration as a criminal offender. Bayard Rustin passed away in 1987, but his legacy endures. In 2013, he was posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in recognition of his lifelong dedication to equality. Richard Bruce Nugent was a bold and unapologetic figure of the Harlem Renaissance, remembered as one of the few openly gay artists of his time. Born in Washington, D.C. in 1906, Nent harbored a passion for art from an early age and eventually found his place among the most notable writers and intellectuals of the Harlem Renaissance. His works often delved into themes of homosexuality, interracial relationships, and identity, topics considered highly controversial during that era. Despite the risk of backlash, Nent refused to hide his true self. His voice was a rare and invaluable one within a community that often chose discretion. One of Nugent's most famous works, Smoke, Lies, and Jade, remains a groundbreaking piece of literature. It is among the first published works to openly address same-sex attraction. Written in a poetic and free-form style, it challenged traditional literary norms. His fearless creativity sometimes sparked disagreements with others in the Harlem Renaissance, many of whom preferred to avoid such openly controversial topics. Nugent passed away in 1987, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire artists and writers today. His contributions to literature and art cemented his position as a trailblazer who dared to challenge societal expectations, making him a true icon of the Harlem Renaissance. Langston Hughes, one of the most celebrated poets of the 20th century, left an indelible mark on American literature and culture. Born in Missouri in 1902, Hughes grew up with a love for storytelling, which blossomed into a prolific career as a writer, playwright, and poet. He became a central figure of the Harlem Renaissance, chronicling the struggles, hopes, and triumphs of Black Americans through his powerful words. Works such as The Negro Speaks of Rivers and I, Too, Sing America remain widely taught and revered today for their profundity and emotional depth. Hughes's personal life has long been a topic of speculation due to his privacy about romantic relationships. Many scholars and biographers believe Hughes was gay, though he never publicly acknowledged it. Nevertheless, his works often conveyed themes of love, longing, and identity, resonating strongly with minority communities. Hughes wrote about the beauty and resilience of Black life, challenging stereotypes and offering deeper insights into the African American experience. Langston Hughes passed away in 1967 from complications of prostate cancer, yet his influence endures. Hughes' quote ability to merge art with activism secured his place as one of America's most enduring literary voices, celebrated for his graceful and powerful depiction of the human spirit. Paris DuPree was a legendary figure in dance, remembered as a trailblazer who helped shape the world of voguing and queer culture. Born in the 1950s, DuPree became a fixture in New York City's LGBTQ+ underground community, where she founded the iconic House of DuPree. Known for her grace and creativity, DuPree played a pivotal role in popularizing voguing, a dance style combining sharp angular poses with fluid movements inspired by fashion magazine models. One iconic story recounts DuPree striking dramatic poses to the rhythm of music with a Vogue magazine in hand at a nightclub. This spontaneous moment is said to have ignited the voguing craze, captivating audiences worldwide. DuPree's influence extended beyond dance. She was a key figure in organizing ballroom competitions, creating categories that allowed participants to showcase their talents and unique identities. Her contributions were immortalized in the groundbreaking documentary Paris is Burning, which brought ballroom culture to public attention. Paris DuPree passed away in 2011, but her legacy lives on in the dance community. The impact of her creativity and leadership remains felt in contemporary fashion, dance, and LGBTQ+ culture, cementing her as a true icon of self-expression and empowerment. John Graves was a man ahead of his time, quietly challenging societal norms during an era fraught with danger. As a Black clergyman, he balanced his faith with a steadfast belief in equality, a conviction that led him to become the first president and co-director of the Society for Human Rights. Founded in Illinois in 1924, it was the first recognized organization advocating for gay rights in the United States. Graves collaborated with Henry Gerber, a German immigrant inspired by the works of Dr. Magnus Hirschfeld, to fight for a more equitable society. They published a newsletter to educate the public about the discrimination faced by gay individuals, sparking conversations and challenging societal prejudices. However, the group, which had only 7 members at its inception, faced immediate suppression. Police, fueled by prejudice and misinformation, raided the organization and falsely accused Graves and his colleagues of heinous acts. Graves was arrested, publicly humiliated, and his reputation was severely tarnished. After the Society for Human Rights disbanded, he faded from public view. Details about his later life remain unclear, but his bravery in advocating for such a controversial cause laid the foundation for the LGBTQ+ rights movement we know today. Alain Leroy Locke was a visionary force in intellectual and cultural circles, transforming the perception of Black art and literature. Born in 1885, Locke was the first African-American Rhodes Scholar, breaking barriers few dared to imagine at the time. Rather than rest on his laurels, he used his platform to amplify the voices of Black artists and thinkers, playing a pivotal role in the Harlem Renaissance. Locke, quote, most notable contribution, The New Negro, was more than a book. It was a rallying cry. Through essays, poetry, and stories, it celebrated the richness of Black culture and fostered a newfound pride in the African-American community. Locke believed that art could change the world, dedicating his life to proving this idea. As a philosopher and educator, his influence extended beyond the classroom, inspiring countless individuals to embrace their heritage and share their stories with the world. Though Locke lived in a time when gay identities were often hidden, his personal life did not diminish his achievements. When he passed away in 1954, the world lost a visionary thinker who spent his life breaking barriers. His legacy endures in the pages of literature, the halls of academia, and the hearts of those he inspired to dream bigger and fight harder for equality.